Hello, thank you for joining us in this series of reflection as we continue through this Lent season. In our first reading today, we hear the endearing words of Moses to his people. He invites his people to remember. He invites them to remember what God has done for them and pass that on to their children and their children's children. He exhorts them to observe the law carefully, for thus, he says, will you give evidence of your wisdom and intelligence to the nations, who will hear of these statutes and say, this great nation is truly a wise and intelligent people. In the gospel that is given to us for today, Jesus says, I have not come to abolish the law and the prophets. Rather, I have come to fulfill them. These words of Jesus in our gospel today come to us after Jesus has blessed the people that have gathered to listen to him with the Beatitudes. They form what we call a disclaimer before he proceeds with his teaching. In his version of the gospel, Matthew has Jesus go up on the mountain, probably a higher ground. And as the disciples come to him, he begins to teach. Just like Moses was given the law on the mountain, Jesus is teaching a way of life that builds on the law that God gave his people through Moses. For Jesus, the following of the law that God gave through Moses is a way of life rather than just mere set of rules to be followed. This way of life for Jesus is a way of justice, of peace, of love, of mercy. And Jesus embodies that way of life in and through his life and ministry. In John chapter 10 verse 10, Jesus says, I have come that you may have life and have life to the full. Jesus' teaching on the Mount embodies his life and ministry. He invites us to do the same. So today we are called not only to remember what God has done for us and to observe the statutes and precepts, but are also invited into a way of life that Jesus himself embodied, lived, and ministered. His way of life led him to the cross. His dying on the cross brought us life. So as we continue our Lenten journey, we may want to ask ourselves, what am I called to die to so that I may have life and have it to the full? May the passion of Jesus Christ be always in our hearts.